If you love Indie Tales, be sure to subscribe here and on Twitch, where I'm live most weekdays. You can also show your support through Patreon or on itch.io, where I upload assets and games shown on the channel. Hey pals, welcome back to a new video. Today I wanted to talk about kind of what's going on with me, give you a bit of a life update and also an update on Insignia since it's been quite a while. So here it is. Basically, the last 8 months of my life have been pretty chaotic. I spent the first 6 months in Thailand. My wife went on exchange to study over there, and so I followed her, and we had a really good time. It was really challenging for me to kind of maintain my work flow and my work ethic in a country where I didn't have any way of, communicating with people, didn't have any friends, didn't have much space. But I think we proved pretty well that we were able to, stay productive. So I managed to, enter a couple of game jams. I streamed regularly. I made a lot of progress on Insignia. But it was definitely challenging too. I don't super recommend it if you're not, really comfortable outside of your comfort zone. It's something you can do, but it's definitely going to take a toll on you that you have to sort of like really respect moving somewhere that you've never been before and in a place where you don't speak the language. So when we came back, we had actually arranged to be renting a place, this place that we're in now. But at the time, we had some issues moving in. There were tenants living here who refused to leave. So we were sort of homeless for a little while. We spent a few weeks at my in-laws' place. I was able to keep working and still streaming. And then my brother, who lives in New Zealand, or was living in New Zealand at the time, who was working on a film over there, he had like some empty space and was really lonely. So we flew over to New Zealand for a couple of weeks and lived with him. And that was really fun, although we did get sick and we didn't get to do the things we wanted to do. I really wanted to see Hobbiton, the set from The Lord of the Rings, and I didn't get to do that. And then when we came back, eventually the house situation opened up again. This house is owned by like a family member, and so they've agreed to rent it out to us for less than crazy prices. But the place is like a real fixer-upper. Like I've spent maybe the last 2 weeks, 3 hours a day or something, just kind of cleaning things and writing lists of things that need to be repaired and buying stuff for repairs. And it's been like a lot, but for the first time in like 8-9 months, I actually have access to all of my stuff. Like, my 2-screen monitor setup and my computer, not just working from my laptop. I actually have access to my stuff, which is good. I need my tools. So now that I'm back and now that the moving in process is mostly sorted out, I really feel sort of comfortable and excited to be kind of doubling down on my work, not just with Insignia and with streaming, but coming back to YouTube and doing more frequent uploads. There's been a really strong mental block in my mind when it comes to considering coming back to YouTube and doing more content. Like a year ago, I started running out of like big topics that are great for beginners that I could share easily. And at the same time, I created this channel to promote my game first and foremost. And so the game's at a place now where it's starting to become really more obvious that I can be doing that and easy to do that. So it's been 6 years. The first 3 were sort of setting up a proof of concept and trying to build something that was scalable. The next 2 were refining the game down into something that actually is a unique, interesting game worth people's time, not just a functional set of systems, but something that actually tells the story that I want and allows me to be really specific about the production values and the way that I animate characters and how I build enemy behaviors out of those characters, as well as finding a unique kind of gameplay mechanic upon which to sort of hinge the marketing for the game. So it's always been an action adventure. The story's always been pretty much as it is. But in previous videos, I explained how I was hesitant to sort of market the game on Steam or take it to a publisher just yet because it was lacking that core identity, that marketing identity. And I'm very, very, very particular about this kind of thing, especially having worked on the game so long. So since October last year, that's what I've been working towards, is building out that core mechanic. This is something equivalent to, say, the magic system in like Hogwarts Legacy or the magic and ability system in Final Fantasy XVI, the things that make those games unique. Actually, like when I'm playing the game minute to minute, what am I working towards? How am I interacting with the game? What am I thinking about? Is it more strategic? Is it more tactical? Do I have lots of options or a few options that matter a lot more? The difference between like a Dark Souls and a Devil May Cry. These are really critical. And as a designer who started with a story and a world first, finding the right kind of gameplay mechanic that would allow me to reward the kinds of play that I want players to be playing and encourage sort of more exploration, more engagement with the platforming aspects of the game, as well as still having there be a really clear connection back to the story. That's something that has been really critical for me. So I feel like I've achieved that now. I've got what I call the ensign system in the game. Ensign in my game being like a singular of the plural insignia. So like now the game's title kind of makes more sense. And as far as how that's explained in like the magic system of the game and the lore of the game, I'll leave that for a little bit. I don't want to give away too much. But what it means is that the way that you acquire abilities and the way that you engage in combat is something that I've never seen before in an action game, and something that I think fits really well with the story that I'm telling. So I'm really proud of that. So what I've been doing really recently is kind of dipping my toes back into the space of marketing media. This is like production art, you know, character drawings that you would see in, say, a Kickstarter page or on a Steam page or a website for a game. Thinking about actually just retouching my website, because I build those from scratch. So I've been revisiting my website. It kind of broke a little bit. The header carousel has been stuffed up for a little while. And I've been doing, a lot more sketching, revisiting the, color schemes, web layouts, definitely character identity and character art. For me, character art is really, really important. It's an aspect of the way that the game makes its first impressions to you before you even start playing the game. It's one of those things where, if you're scrolling through Steam and you see a capsule image and it's got a character's face on it, that character's face tells you, and not just the expression on the face, but the way that it's drawn, the style, if there are other characters behind, or if they're clashing in combat. These things give you a really clear first impression of what kind of experience you're going to get. And even when comparing games back to back in video form, say you're watching a Nintendo Direct and you see a bunch of screenshots from different games or trailers from games, there are some really critical aspects about the way those games present themselves. Firstly, does the marketing media actually sell the game on its own? And then secondly, does that media hold up against the other media that's being shown from other games? So for me, it's really critical that now that I've got an identity behind the game, that the way that I sort of express that identity visually in, things like character art, but even fonts, like font choices on a website, whether I use a light website background or a dark background, these things do matter. And if you engage in these things professionally, if you're a professional UI designer for a website, there are things that you care about a lot. So I've been exploring different styles, different options, and I think I'm getting pretty close. When you've been working on a character for like 6 years and you've been drawing them a little bit differently every single time, to be finally coming down to like a point where you can say, no, these are the dimensions of my character. This is how he's drawn in like a Mickey Mouse Disney kind of way, where you've got like style guides and rules, is something that's really strange, but it is something that I'm recognizing is actually kind of important to creating a game that has a cohesive identity. And if I was, say, directing a team of animators to do an animated trailer for the game, if I got funded and that was part of the budget, that's something that I need to be able to provide. I need to be able to say, hey, this is how the character is drawn. So that's been a bit of a journey. And yeah, I've been making some good progress there. I'm sort of toying between this kind of like Studio Ghibli style, where we go more line art heavy, more flat, almost cel shaded, versus a more painterly style, which may be a little more unique, but perhaps less recognizable and less easy to reproduce. So it's something that I'm trying to explore the bounds of, and then maybe split the difference between and see kind of where is most comfortable. So all of this is to show you that I am making steps towards having the game have more of a public image. This video is part of that, but even the work that I'm doing on the game itself, when I'm talking about marketing materials, that kind of stuff, It's there because I'm confident enough in the game that I think it's ready for more people to see it more regularly. I do intend to get funding for the game before I make a big push towards release, because I think that there's enough content to be created that I'm going to need help polishing it off. That's going to mean, animators, programmers, even sound and music. I don't have a budget for that stuff to outsource it, but I would like to build a team and do that. And my kind of current course is to do that by creating some kind of demo beyond what I've got now. I do have a demo from 2020 that I think actually holds up pretty well, but it doesn't showcase the things that make the game unique, and it doesn't have the level of polish that I'm currently working at in the game. So this demo would be a vertical slice demo from somewhere in the middle of the game. It's there to essentially let me make a kind of brief pitch to a publisher, or even as a Kickstarter demo, something that would allow people to really see in a clear box, this is my game, this is what you'll be getting if you invest in me, and this is what I want to work towards when I'm building a team around it. As a developer, I've enjoyed working on this game solo for a long time, but I think long term, the next step in my career through Insignia and after Insignia that I'd like to pursue is direction, and so that's what I'm working towards. As far as this content here on YouTube, it's probably most appropriate at this point in the dev cycle of the game to have more of a regular vlog setup, where I'm just here chatting to the camera with some content, diarizing what's going on with the game. That's something that I used to do before I started streaming, and I still do stream every weekday. I stream every weekday. Go watch my stream. It always surprises me how often people say, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube. I didn't realize you streamed." I do stream. You can catch me at twitch.tv/AdamCYunus every weekday from 1 to 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you should expect to be seeing a lot more of that very soon. So that's it from me. I'll see you all very soon. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching, and thanks most especially to the patrons and subscribers who helped support the channel. Check the links in the description to join that very special list and for direct access to the demo and Discord. As always, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.